After configuring the IP address on the machine, I can reach the web interface. So let me do that from another machine, which is just a Windows machine, and I can start a Chrome browser and go to the specific address you configured. You might get a security warning because of the security certificate here. So let me say I would like to proceed to that website, and if I go there, you will see the web interface of the Nova sensor coming up. You can log on with the default credentials admin and admin. So by default, the username and password are admin. If you do that for the first time after an installation, you will get the end user license agreement and also the data processing agreement. You can go to this. Agree on both of them where you need to re-authenticate with the same credentials, and after you do that, the first thing to do, of course, is to change the password. So my current password was admin, and I will change that for another password that might be more secure. There are some requirements for the password, which you can see for yourself. Let me set that quickly and just click on the OK button here, which makes me again being logged out from the web interface. But now I can log on with my newly set password into this Nova console. Here we go. We have an installed Nova sensor web interface running on the network part that you set manually within the interface. The first thing to do for the default setup for the Nova sensor is to go to the network part over here and click on the interfaces. As you can see, there is just one single address. That is because you have set the IP address on the console itself, so we also need to store that in the configuration of the Nova sensor. Let me add an IP address here. Leave the static IP, the 10.51 as it is. It's a default one. I will add the IP address I've already entered here again. Don't forget to put in the subnet mask in the notation, /24, or whatever you are using, and if I click on the OK button, it will now set this into the configuration of the Nova sensor. You can also see that here, which means that even after reboots, this will be the static IP address of the Nova sensor itself. If you are on a different network, you must route to a specific one. If you are accessing this over the 251 address, please also set the route for the particular network. Especially for the MDR services, because the Nova sensor needs to send the data outside your network to the MDR platform. You can set the specific static route by adding a route and a subnet mask into the default 0.0.0.0, which means everything, and the next hop is the network gateway where your Nova sensor is. In my case, this is the 82.254. I can add that by clicking OK, and as you can see, it also has a valid default route on the Nova sensor. If you'd like, you can also set a specific DNS server that might be on your local network. By default, it's the Google DNS over here. We leave it here like this. This means that we have a running Nova sensor accessible by an IP address on your network with all the information that it needs to receive data. So the next step is adding another network card because, as you can see, there is only one network card. Add a network card, or maybe even multiple interfaces, to receive a copy of the network data that the Nova sensor can analyze.